So this is the Sentro 48 stitch knitting machine. I purchased this one. I have two from Amazon, and you can spend between $47 and $60 for this same machine. It does the panel knitting and the tube knitting. We are in the T mode, which is tube knitting, to make a hat. We're going to make a hat in two different colors. And what I'm basically focusing on here for you is blending or combining two different skeins of yarn together, and how imperative it is to do a square knot and to do your stitching and your winding very slowly, making sure that you're catching every single stitch. Now here, I'm just casting onto the machine. So when you're casting on, you start at your white knitting needle. You'll see there's only one white needle on this machine, and you start by going under the needle and then behind the next one, and then in front of the next one and behind the next one, until you come all the way around and back to your white needle where you started. Then you're going to wind slowly, making sure that you're catching your yarn and not dropping a stitch. Because once you drop a stitch, I don't care if you're 1 inch into your knitting or you're 20 inches into your knitting, once you drop the stitch, if you don't catch it right away, you're pulling it all out and starting again. So go slow for the first 2 to 5 rounds. Then you can start picking up speed, which is what I'm doing here. I didn't fast forward the video. I'm literally just spinning that quickly, trying to get through my first length of pink yarn to get to where I'm joining in my blue yarn. And again, we are doing a square knot. If you don't know how to do a square knot, leave a comment and I'll add a little blip on how to tie a square knot. It's real simple. So we're getting closer. I don't typically stand and knit, but for the sake of videotaping, I am standing and spinning. This is a fun machine, guys, and for the money, you really can't go wrong. I would highly suggest that you practice doing this on not starting a project out of the gate, but just practicing, because you're gonna drop stitches initially. So here's my square knot. I've pulled it out of the tension holder completely, and I'm going to hold it and make sure that as I'm turning that crank, I'm getting that piece of yarn underneath every single stitch needle, okay? Now it's imperative of where you place that knot, so I'm placing it in front of that particular needle, holding it, and now I'll feed my yarn back through the tension mechanism and go slowly. All right, I feel good now, because where you're gonna mess up is right before you get to your square knot and right after. So you have to just be diligent. Trust me, if you're not gonna realize until you're 5 more rows in that you dropped a stitch and now you have a gaping hole in your work. So that's why I'm saying just grab 2 different color yarns and just practice doing this until it becomes very fluid. So here I've done a few rows of my contrasting yarn, and what I've added here are, believe it or not, these are chip bag holders, and I use them as weights. And you really do want to have these on your work when you first begin until you get about 8 to 10 inches in, because it also helps keep the tension perfect. I didn't speed this up. This is just how fast I'm actually spinning. Now here I've come to another square knot. I'm going to contrast back to the pink from the blue. There's my square knot. Making sure I'm getting underneath every single stitch, or needle rather. Pulling that knot in front of that particular needle, because otherwise it's going to get jammed down into your needle. There you go. And then I can reattach. It's a lot of fun, but be patient and practice. Once you've done this and made about 10 mistakes and pulled your yarn back out, you'll get the hang of it. You really will. So don't give up. Just keep practicing and you will get it. What you notice here is I do not use waste yarn at the beginning nor at the end. You don't have to. A lot of people do, but I feel like it makes a lot more work. This is really quite simple to do your finishing once once you've put as many rows on here as you need to make whatever it is you're making, which is typically a hat on these machines. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.